So you started your business to solve a problem and create lasting change in your community, but now you find yourself stuck in the day-to-day operations of your business. How did that happen?
It's so easy to get busy and burned out working in your business that you don't have time and energy to work on your business. That's where we come in.
I'm Scott Woods, and with over 30 years experience in C-suite and accounting, I'm here to help you get your numbers in order so you can scale your business and your mission effectively.
And I'm Steff Thomas. With my 20 years of experience in human resources at all levels, I'm excited to help you grow as a leader of your business and surround yourself with members that understand your vision.
You're listening to the Changemakers Collective podcast, where impact-driven businesses come to accelerate their growth through servant leadership.
We're super excited to be here again. My name is Stephanie Thomas, and I'm part of Silverback Ventures. You can call me Steff, and I'm here with my partner Scott.
Hey, what's happening?
We're too excited today.
Yeah, we've got a fun episode today for sure, as we talk to business owners about including or focusing in on having an impact in the community. One of the things we hear consistently, and you can chime in here too, Steff, is I don't know if I'm really trying to get my business off the ground, or I'm at a plateau and I'm really trying to get to the next revenue level. I don't have time or money to focus on having an impact in the community. I'll do that after I scale my business. The byproduct of my business doing well is I'll give away some more money at the end. We firmly believe that is opposite of where it should be, right?
Scott, a lot of times, and I say this all the time, are you working on your business? Are you working in your business? Are you balancing working on and in? And I don't think those two things are mutually exclusive. I think you got to think about how to scale your business while you are impacting the community.
Yes, 100%. Yeah, they're not mutually exclusive. Actually, I believe this very strongly, but we believe very strongly that seeking after and focusing in on leaving a lasting impact is what we like to call a force multiplier. And that's not a term you hear a lot in the business world, but it actually means it's a multiplication effect. It's an exponential effect on your business as a whole, both from a financial aspect and on an impact aspect. We have an opportunity, if we're focusing in on leaving an impact and working toward solving problems, inevitably you'll find partners in the community that are willing to come alongside and help. So what happens is, if we work with, for example, the hot dog stand, and you have or even Panera, let's pick Panera because that's a better example. Panera Bread gives away and partners with, doesn't just give away their extra products at the end of the day, and out the back door. It's not like somebody is standing out there with a cart full of bagels and just dumping me on the corner and hoping some person experiencing homelessness is going to pick it up. They partner with local community service organizations that are providing that food to people in need. What happens there? It's a multiplication. Panera is actually getting rid of unused product, and the charitable organization that's supporting that community does not now have to pay for or get donations for those products that they're giving away.
Scott, as you're talking about that, the word that just really sticks with me is intentional, right?
Yes.
So Panera, as a for-profit, made a decision that they are going to have product loss. And what could they do with the product? You have charities, and if you look, it's over 4,000 who need so that they can serve the community. What is left at the end of the day, so that Panera can say our product is fresh every day, but the community is served at a different level. So charities had to go to them, and they had to seek out what lined up with their values.
And I think it's interesting you should say the leftovers, because I think it's important as an impact focus that we are giving equal product and service, not as a leftovers, here, I'm going to throw this out, so instead of throwing it out, I'm giving it to you. That's not impact. That is making yourself feel better about throwing stuff away. That may poke some people in the eye, but the impact is those products are fresh that day and they're going into the hands of people that need it that day.
Speaking of people that impact big communities, of course, we work with the World Shoe,
Mm,
and World Shoe is intentional to make sure as they do humanitarian work throughout the world that the quality of their humanitarian product is equal
yes.
to their retail product.
Yes. And there are some organizations in the past that have done that very poorly and suffered the consequence. You know, in the shoe business, we are all familiar with Tom's shoes. We're all familiar with the fall from grace, so to speak, of the buy one, give one, where the buy one and the give one were not the same quality of product. That's, again, giving leftovers is not impact. We want to serve the people that we're serving because they're equally capable or should be receiving honor, respect, and love just because they're human. They're in a circumstance that needs assistance. It's our jobs as humans to assist when we have capability. There is no reason why we should not give them our highest and best.
You know, Scott, as you're talking about giving away, we're talking about it in a sense of, okay, we're being successful.
Mm,
w- let's step back a moment and think about the businesses that need to scale their business or
true.
just create a foundation so they can get to a place where they can impact the whole community.
No, that's really good. That's really good because there are going to be people listening to this podcast that go, yeah, that sounds great, but I'll do that out of the excess instead
Right.
of making it a part of my
I'm not
business.
there yet.
Yeah, exactly right. What we're talking about is actually making impact a metric that you're measuring along with profitability, making it a part of the everyday activity, running your strategic planning, which we'll talk about later, through the lens of how does this help us grow profitability and how does this help us grow our impact in the community? Those two things are not or should not have to be mutually exclusive. And if you set your business up right from the get go and understand how those two things work together, the Tom's buy one, give one was a good model. Where you fell down was that you told people you were buying one, giving one, and then you were doing something different and not having the conversation.
You know, Scott, you brought up strategic planning, which of course we're going to, have a long
Dedicated
podcast.
episode. Yeah.
But, just as a pointer, when you are putting your give back
Mm.
into your strategic plan, it's not a byproduct or an afterthought.
And it's not something you think about on December 25th or 26th after Christmas and go, okay, we've got to figure out how we're giving this money away by the end of the year. If your focus, and we're going to say this until we're blue in the face, if your focus is changing the community and as a result changing the world around you, that has to be your focus. That has to be an equal importance inclusive of your profitability and your scalability as a business. We need to do that as individuals, and that bleeds over into our businesses. How do we have an equal focus on changing the world and making money, changing the world and feeding our family, changing the world and paying for our kids' college?
Scott, one of the cool things about when you are giving back, being a force multiplier, um, you tend to have a hive mindset or a collective mindset.
Mm,
So there's
that's
many
true.
people that are also. So with Panera, they're not just helping, we're in the greater Charlotte area. They're not just helping the greater Charlotte area. They're helping people whatever area Panera is in. So
Correct.
they're impacting multiple different kind of charities, and each charity has its own line of sight that it's working
That's
toward.
correct. And again, let me make this clear. We are not connected to Panera in
Oh no,
any
not at
way,
all, not
shape,
at
or
all.
form. But they're in a good example of an organization that's nationwide that partners with local service providers to be able to multiply the impact in the community. It is not their job to provide meals to those in need. It's their job to sell us a salad or a bagel or a pastry.
You know, Scott, another group that really does a great job is Samaritan's Feet. Not only are they focused on delivering shoes throughout the world, they also partner with other humanitarians globally for vaccines or various other things. They are impacting at a global scale, but they're a
Yes.
local business.
Yes. And I think that's where we talk about. And if you own a business now that's got 2, 3, 5, 10 employees, and you're thinking about and listening to us and going, there's no way I can do that. There's no way I can incorporate any more outflow in my business because I'm barely making payroll now. That does not preclude you from having an impact in the community. What does that look like? Let's talk through the organizations that you're passionate about. This is where the on purpose, for purpose, on purpose, right? That's why we talk about what are those societal ills that you feel strongly about impacting. One of the things that nonprofits do well is trying to get stuff for free, trying to find partners that will give them money or partner with them for free. For-profit organizations do a terrible job of getting stuff for free. And I think if for-profit businesses started acting more like nonprofit businesses in terms of being efficient and being able to have focus on what the end result, what the impact is, you would see an explosion of purpose-driven businesses that are having a positive impact in the world. There is no reason we in the United States of America should have a problem with underfed children. There's no reason at all. We can find a solution for that, but you're going to have collaboration, which leads to innovation, which leads to transformation. And it has to happen.
Scott,
Sorry, I'm a little crazy about that topic,
you're a
but
little
let's
fired
go.
up. You're a little fired up.
Let's go.
Scott, you again just brought up something really fantastic. You got to start with where you are,
Yes.
and you got to plan to be at your next.
Yes.
And when I say start with what you are, I'm not saying be complacent in your growth strategy, but be realistic. Okay, I have 2 employees and one of them is my husband.
Yes. Yes. And my board of advisors is all of my family. Yes.
Because they're my cheerleaders.
Yes.
Okay, but that's something. You have a product, you have a team that at least is cheerleading you along. And then how do you strategically plan so that you can impact at a greater level? But be okay.
And it has to start with understanding what you're passionate about. When you answer that billion-dollar lottery question, it will point you in a direction that says, hey, I would love to solve this problem. I have a young person I worked with that said, I would love to be able to eat my way around the world, was her exact response. And I was like, I'm not exactly sure what to
that
do with
means.
that. But what we found when we dug in is that she really wants to see communities around the world that are struggling with only being able to have one meal a day be fed.
Well, I mean, let's think about that. Being without food absolutely creates a psychological problem.
100%.
Much like going to school without shoes is a
Correct.
psychological
Correct.
thing that affects someone's entire life. So being able to give psychological safety to one family in the food bank leaves a lasting impact on the entire community for just one family. Imagine multiplying that.
Yes. And doing it in a way that is dignified and valuing them as the amazing human being that they are provides a catalyst for their personal growth, which again turns into them taking the right attitude and the right experience and the right encouragement into their workplace. And then it creates an opportunity as their workplace grows to scale the business to be able to have a greater impact.
Which leads right back to the beginning of our topic.
Yes.
We don't give back our leftovers.
No, you give your first and best. You give your first and best. You incorporate it in everything you do because you're passionate about solving this problem. Nobody starts a business because they just want to make money. Everybody wants to solve a problem. And we need to get back to actually thinking about and planning for and doing the problem-solving piece.
So, often we say we want to live a life of purpose on purpose. And um, somewhere along the way, as nonprofit and for profit, we may step away from our vision
Mm,
and
true.
mission statements,
Yep.
or maybe we've convoluted our mission and vision statement to where it's not our true purpose anymore.
Or maybe your business has taken a downturn and now you're immediately thinking, I'm in survival mode.
You can still make an impact if you
Yes.
start with where you
Yes.
are.
Yes. Start with where you are, with what you have, and have a design for what you're trying to accomplish.
Another thing is be okay to ask for help.
Yes. Yeah, because there's a pile of people out there that are actually trying to solve the same problem. We work with nonprofits and for profit companies that are solving the same problem, and they desperately need assistance. One of the things we do at Silverback Ventures is create opportunity for collaboration because we can solve the problem much faster if we work together and don't care who gets the credit.
So, Scott, as we wrap up this podcast episode and we live a life of purpose on purpose, tell me 2 things that you would like for our listening audience to think about.
Number one is, what problem are you trying to solve? If you had unlimited time and unlimited money, what problem would you solve? And secondly, how do you start solving that problem with where you are, with what you have, and in the business that you're currently running?
I love it. Thank you. Make sure to join us again on our next podcast episode. Thank you for listening to the Changemakers Collective. If you've enjoyed this episode, please help us grow our community by leaving us a review on Apple Podcast or rating us on Spotify.
You can also find our podcast on YouTube, so you can come and leave us a comment over there as well. If you want support growing your business and scaling your vision, visit us at silverbackventures.org or connect with us on LinkedIn.
Thanks again, and we'll see you on our next episode.